There's a Buddhist concept called emptiness that has two problems. First, it's hard to explain to people. You say to them, see, every physical thing in the world, that table, that chair, that tree over there, is empty, devoid of essence. And they say, excuse me? The second problem with emptiness is that it sounds depressing. Who wants everything to be empty? But I think emptiness can actually be uplifting, and that it doesn't have to sound so puzzling. Let me tell you about an experience of emptiness I had a couple of decades ago. In 2003, I went on my first ever silent meditation retreat. A whole week of doing no talking and lots of meditating. One day, I was taking a walk in the woods, and I saw a kind of weed called a plantain weed that I had often tried to kill, because often it had tried to invade my lawn. And I don't put up with that kind of stuff, okay? Because if you let even one weed push you around... Anyway, the point is that a plantain weed had always seemed to me an unsightly, even hideous thing. And yet, now, on this meditation retreat, I saw a plantain weed and it looked beautiful. Every bit as beautiful as all the other plants in the forest, which, by the way, looked really beautiful. And I thought to myself, wait, why do we call this one kind of beautiful plant a weed and these other kinds of beautiful plants non-weeds? Which, when you think about it, is a good question. After all, it's not like a weed has the word weed written in its DNA. Weed is just a name. Some cultures call some plants weeds, some cultures call other plants weeds. Who am I to judge? You might say that once I dropped the weed label, I was looking at the plant more objectively, from the perspective of no particular culture. But I want to emphasize that this felt like more than a simple relabeling exercise. The shift in my perception of the plant felt profound. What had once been ugly and off-putting was now lovely and inviting. You don't realize how subtly and powerfully your conception of a thing shapes your perception of a thing until that conception drops out. The way you might describe my experience in Buddhist terms is to say that I had quit perceiving essence of weed. I was now correctly perceiving that this so-called weed was in fact empty of such essence. There are people who have progressed so far along the contemplative path that they see emptiness everywhere they look. They say that the objects in a room, the chairs, the tables, the lamps, seem less different from each other, less sharply distinguished from each other than they used to seem. I mean, these people can still function. They don't sit on the table or put a bowl of soup on the lamp or try to screw a light bulb into the chair. But they see more continuity in the world than before. And you know what they say about this continuity? They say it looks beautiful. And they often say they feel calmer. Apparently, taking the edges off of things takes the edge off of things. According to Buddhist philosophy, these people are getting a truer view of the world, just as I was getting a truer view of that so-called weed. By dropping the labels they put on things, they are seeing them without the conceptual filter that usually gets between us and reality. To see emptiness, Buddhism tells us, is to see things as they really are. As a meditation retreat fades into the past, the most powerful effects often wear off. After all, those effects require doing a ton of meditating every day. So right now, today, things don't look as beautiful to me as they did on that retreat. But I still do some meditating every day, and as a result, I think, I am better at seeing beauty in things, which I guess means I'm seeing a bit less essence in them. But there's one thing I really don't get. Why is it that when the essence drops out of things, when you come closer to seeing the world as it really is, the world looks more beautiful? Not less beautiful, and not exactly as beautiful as before, but more beautiful. Why can perceiving the world as empty, or even as somewhat empty, a little empty, make life more pleasant? Beats me, but I'm not complaining about it.